Hi everyone, welcome to Tony Fox Tarot. Thanks for joining me today and great to have you with me. Today we are looking at whether this person is cheating on you. We're going to break the reading down by having a look at their character. Are they trustworthy? What's your experience of them? How are they with you? Have they cheated on you in the past? Are they cheating on you now? Will they cheat on you in the future? Also, what is your experience of this person and the relationship you have with them? What are your suspicions? How do you think and feel about this person? Importantly, where is this all going in terms of a developmental timeline? What's the future outcome here between the both of you? So lots to get into. And before we get started, if you want to go down below and hit subscribe, tap on the bell icon. That'll give you a notification for any future readings that I post. Please like and share this video where you can. And if you are interested in the services that I offer as a psychic tarot reader, you can go to www.tonyfoxtarot.com. There's plenty of information about who it is that I am, what it is that I do, and how it is you can access my service as a psychic tarot reader. On the screen, we've got 4 different cards to choose from, and the idea is to choose a card that resonates with you really clearly. Once you've made that choice, that will be your reading. It's fine to choose more than one card if it comes through really strongly for you. And remember, this is a general reading, so take what resonates and leave behind anything that doesn't. We've got card 1, 2, 3, and 4. So taking a moment to be with the cards, drawing in a nice deep breath, and as you release the breath, listening to your intuition, your inner voice, and the energy of the cards. Which of these comes through for you the strongest today? Is it card 1, 2, 3, or 4? Down below, there are 4 different timestamps representing each of these different cards. If you'd like to go to the one that you've chosen, I will see you in a moment. Hi everyone, welcome to card number 1. This is your reading and we're looking at whether this person is cheating on you or not today. So let's jump in and have a look and see what's going on. Down here with the Devil and the 6 of Cups. I feel that this has been an issue straight from the get-go, really. I feel like this person has always had some kind of question mark over them as to whether they would cheat on you at some point. I feel like this is a part of what their history is about as a person, that they brought something to the connection or the relationship with you that leaves you to question their integrity. And I feel like this is a bit bigger than just you and them. I feel like there are other people that you know or who have known this person that have witnessed what it is that's happened with them in the past. Or that there is an experience or an observation or a feeling by other people that have warranted them to step in and basically warn you as to where this is all going. You know, questioning, is this really what you want? Is this really in your best interests? Do you really think that you can trust them? Because we feel that you might get hurt if you actually make a commitment to this person. I think also for you, over the time that you've known this person, and I'm looking into the past, there's been a lot of different experiences that you've had with them that have failed to add up in a way that have left you feeling that maybe they're telling the truth, or that they're selectively leaving bits and pieces out of a story or an experience that just leave you to feel, oh, hang on a second, that doesn't feel right, or it doesn't sound right, or it doesn't look right. So I feel like you're always having to do groundwork, you know, like it's like you're investigating them all the time in your mind, and you're always anticipating where things are going in a way where you're trying to keep ahead of the situation. I feel like there's a lot of management going on here in terms of trying to keep everything on track. I feel like you know what this person can be like. I feel like you know their history. And I feel, what's interesting about this connection is I feel like this is like a naughty boy or a naughty girl, you know, like somebody who has a very, I don't want to say checkered past. It may be colorful or interesting or just a little bit rogue, you know, like a bit rebellious. I kind of feel like this isn't the person that you want to bring home to meet your mother, but at the same time, you're really attracted to them. I feel like you're the type of person that you want to bring home to your mother or to meet your family. I feel like you're very opposite in terms of your dynamic. There's something about you that is very honest and transparent and would never do anything to anybody to ever cause them to question whether they can trust you. But this person that you're interested in is Not like that at all. And I feel like you're attracted to that type of person. I think that there is something so nice about you that you want something challenging. You want a little bit of naughtiness in your life. You want to kind of make it spicy. You don't want it to be predictable. You don't want it to be too much like you. You know, your interests or your desires or your attractions, they are opposite to the kind of person that you are. And I feel that's very much the case with this person, that they feel that I want to say purity, that the niceness as to who it is that you are, the innocence of your nature is very much a driving force for them in terms of their attraction to who it is that you are as a person. But I do feel here, you know, here with the Six of Cups, there are maybe friends that you've seen of yours or theirs, or shared friends that you have. Maybe there are specific people that you've seen who look at the person that you're interested here in a way where it kind of leaves you to feel maybe something's going on right underneath my nose. I felt that there was something very hypnotic about this person that you're into here, that there's an evocative, you know, spell-like quality to who they are. You know, like I just feel that they there's a lot that you can forgive. You know, I feel like you have turned a blind eye to their behavior. Not necessarily about the idea that they might be cheating, but I kind of feel like you let them get away with a lot because you like the naughtiness. You don't want to change them fundamentally. You want to leave them to be the person they need to be, so that they can just enjoy their life, and you enjoy that part about them. But the issue of cheating, that's a red line for you. I kind of feel like that would be a step too far. Coming up here to Justice and the Ace of Wands, I feel that when you met this person, they definitely were turning a new page in their life. Here with Justice, I feel their past had caught up with them, either in a previous relationship or just successively in terms of behavioral patterns. I kind of feel like something's caught up to them and they haven't been able to get away with it anymore. They've been forced to face certain facts about their behavior in terms of cheating on other people, for example. They've been found guilty, that other people have found them out, and that it's become common knowledge, public knowledge, that that this person has also been very honest about what they've been like in terms of cheating on past relationships. I feel that they've been called out, that they've called themselves out, that they've been very transparent about what that's actually meant in a way where they've just been above board, and that they've actually chosen that moment to really begin a new chapter in their life. And I feel like that new chapter is when they met you. I feel that they have been very positively attuned to what it is that happened, as far as being found out and about the fact that they were cheating, that they've used this as a very transformative process to, I guess in some ways, to kind of reform themselves. I felt that when they met you, they put their best foot forward. I feel that here with the Ace of Wands, it's like, you know, there's a very strong physical attraction to you, but also a very inspirational opportunity with you in a way where they've just kind of like seen the light in some ways. It almost feels a little bit spiritual. It's like, yeah, I really want to be with you. I want to make changes in my life. This is how it is. I feel like they've told you, this is how I've been in the past, but I don't want to do that anymore. You know, I understand where it is that I've gone wrong. I want to be with you. I want to show you the best of myself, which everybody does when they first meet somebody. So I kind of feel like it's all been good. I feel like everything here is kind of out in the open, but in an ongoing fashion. I think that you've always felt that you've needed to keep, not guarded, but just like you have suspicions, right? You know, you see what goes on, you know what people can be like, you know this person's history. I kind of feel like you're in anticipation that it may happen again. I don't necessarily say that it has, because I didn't feel that it had, but if you come up here to strengthen the Knight of Swords, I feel like this person's behavior has changed completely from when you first met them. I feel like now there are a lot of mood swings, a lot of anger spilling up and over. And it feels like it actually has a lot of clout. So I feel like you're on the sharp end of it. And here with strength, very passionate, very driven card of strong emotions, strong feelings. Knight of Swords is a card that articulates a lot of bad language. It kind of feel like this person may have been swearing a lot or just very frustrated and angry about what it is that's going on, but it feels erratic. It doesn't feel like it's rationalized. There's no sense in it. They're all over the shop in terms of their behavior. There's a lot of unpredictability. From where it was before to where it is now, I think the contrast is quite stark. I kind of feel like this person seems to be very unhappy. I don't feel that they're being fair with you. I don't feel that they're being completely honest with you, because I don't feel that they know what the problem really is. This is more about a behavioral change than it is about them sleeping around on you. But it has led you to ask yourself questions as to whether they're happy or whether they may be cheating on you. I don't feel that you feel that they necessarily are at this point in time. I feel like this person here with strength is a card of restriction, and it is about your deeper desires. And I feel here with the Knight of Swords, they're fighting against something that is very deep within themselves. The desire that points to the past of maybe sleeping around or having freedom to go and sow their seeds in a way where they have freedom to express something that maybe is deeper within themselves as far as their desires are concerned. Yeah, I feel like they're beginning to question whether not doing that is something that they're happy with. I feel like there is a language within their mind that is kind of flipping things around, looking at things, turning stones, questioning the past, putting things into perspective. The reality is that as time goes on and they're not out there sleeping around in a way that they used to, I feel that that the restriction is beginning to trigger them. They're starting to miss it a little bit. They're starting to think about it. The feeling, the desire, it's there. They recognize it. I'm not saying that is a conscious thing, because I don't feel that they're fully understanding or cognitively aware as to why their mood may have changed. I think there's just a lot of frustration. There's a lot of irritation, but at surface level for me. It's not connecting all of the dots. I don't feel like this person is fully immersed in a process or an understanding or a dialogue with themselves that really understands where they're at with it all. It's a bit of a feeling here, it's a bit of a feeling there, it's a bit of a conversation in their mind on a particular moment in the day, and then it's maybe a bit of a reflection on something that happened in the past. It's not fully articulate though. And I think because of that, they're starting to feel uncomfortable, because the reality is that as time goes on, they have made choices. They have made choices to be here today where they are with you. And a part of the deal is to be in a committed relationship. And they've turned a new leaf. It's the new person, it's the new self. And I think they're starting to find it difficult to grow into that. And they're not sure how to develop and to grow as a person from this point forwards. And if we come down here to the Tower, the Ten of Pentacles, I feel here for you in response to that situation that it's really unsettled you. In fact, it's been quite chaotic in terms of its impact. Because a lot of your hopes here are based on the idea that you're going to settle down with this person here with the Ten of Pentacles. Your values are very driven by family and security and sort of financial comfort. Anchoring yourself in a feeling of being surrounded by community and steadfastness with other people. I kind of feel like you're looking to sort of sow a fabric of life that really is about putting down roots. Yeah. You can also see that here with the Six of Cups and the Devil. The Devil's a very ambitious, strong, driven energy here with the Six of Cups. For many of you, I think also partnering with this person, I feel perhaps the idea of kids is something that could be very strong. The idea of having children. But coming over here to the Tower, back over here to the Tower and the Ten of Pentacles, I feel a lot of this has come done. You're very unsettled. you're wanting to settle down for the long term, and all of a sudden, the idea of possibly having a family or putting down roots and really getting things into place in terms of the long game with security have been thrown into chaos. I feel like you're a very patient person, though. I felt for you that you work very hard in a very steadfast fashion with people. Relationship building is very much about the long term for you. I kind of feel like you go in quite deep individually and collectively. I feel like you're there not just for the person, you're there for the wider experience of what it means to have somebody in your life. You join dots into a wider community, whether that's extended family or friends or kind of, like something bigger in terms of a sort of, like a social nature that spreads out into a community. Definitely. I feel that you're very supportive and very patient, very hardworking, but at the moment I think it's like, oh my God, like this, all of a sudden, everything it is that I've done here, and I kind of feel like this has taken a bit of time to get to this point. I feel like it's like I've been very patient. I've considered all of the facts. I knew that there were risks involved here, but I thought we were building towards something that was going to be really amazing. I've invested in this. I can't just give up. I feel like that's where you're at. It's like, I don't want to just give up on this person. What do I do? So I feel like you're looking to get support of this situation by getting your head around it, definitely. But also I feel like you're trying to support them. I feel like you're really trying to be there for them. You're trying to bring them back to base. You're trying to center them. You're trying to get them to focus. You're trying to figure out what the problem is. You're trying to have a conversation, a dialogue with them. But all you're getting back is just lots of reactions. Yeah, you're not getting anything that's thought through. You're just getting lots of triggers. And I feel like you're on the sharp end of it. I feel like you're getting the bad side of them all of a sudden. I think they started out with the best side of themselves. Now you're seeing one of the worst sides of them. It's quite a polarized experience. But you're not prepared to give up. I think that's what's really big here. Is that you won't take no for an answer, and I feel like you're in there in a way where you're trying to knit it together. You're trying to get them to see sense because you're being very rational about the experience. You're looking at the bigger picture. Whereas they're very much in the moment of their experience to their feelings and their underlying issues, I feel, that haven't been resolved. Where's it all going? I'm going to come over here to the Star and the Eight of Wands. I feel here in the balance in the future, if you open up the doorway and you're walking into the future in the next 2 to 3 months, I feel like here for yourself, like it's a struggle, but you're keeping it all going. I think you're focused on what it is that you want. You're looking for the answers to the long game, but I feel also single-handedly that you're putting in all of the efforts to make this work, to make this succeed. You're pushing towards your goal of being with this person and to settle down and to fulfill really the driving values that actually are about your world, but also about this person in terms of having a relationship with them, because I think that you really care about them. I feel also there's a much deeper understanding in these two cards here that really gets the person that you're dealing with. You're not looking at their reactions, their bad temper. You're not really caring so much about the fact that they might be having a bad day and that they don't really seem to be able to make sense of what it is that's going on. I think that deep down you understand that this person has deep-seated issues. That this is more of a health-related problem, whether that's mental health or some kind of behavioral pattern that relates to the health of their situation. I think that you're looking big picture. You go deep into these experiences in a way where you patiently sift through what it is that's happening in front of you to get more to a root cause. And I feel that's because you know who it is that they are, and you know what it is that they're like, and that you know that a lot of this is coming from stuff that hasn't been figured out for them, as an individual. And as a consequence of that, I feel that you'll fight on in a way where you'll see that there's no other option. You're not going to give up on them. In fact, I think you'll refuse to give up on them. And I feel here that there are a lot of other problems that seem to be coming into the mix. It's more of the same. So maybe that's a lot of that's to do with their behavior. Maybe a lot of it's to do with the feeling that you're not actually making any, I guess, any ground on the situation, that you're just kind of maintaining the position. That you're just trying to keep on top of it to get to the next step, to get to a clearing, to get to a place where you can take stock, where things are a little bit more settled, where the situation is a little bit more healthy, where the two of you can come together in a much more sensitive fashion to really sort of begin to figure out what the problems are. I don't feel that this person is cheating on you in any way, shape, or form. But I do have some issues here. And if I come up here to Judgment and the Nine of Swords, I feel it'll get to a point for this other person where they will be unable to face the situation with you anymore. Because I don't feel here with Judgment, I really don't feel that they're going to go deep into this experience in a way where they look at what's going on at the root cause. This person's desires right now are really pulsating, in a very erratic fashion, and pushing up a lot of feelings that are about a desire to go out and to cheat on you, to have an affair perhaps. It's an inbuilt behavioral pattern that is possibly self-destructive, or which serves to distract them from the idea of coming back over here to Judgment and the Nine of Swords, to go deeper into a relationship in a way where they can really begin to face what it means to be intimate and honest about what having this connection is all about. I feel that they're not going to act in a constructive way to get in there and dialogue with themselves, or to commit to some kind of healthy therapeutic understanding as to where this is all going. And I kind of feel like for this person, that's where it's at. It's like they really need to get not only in their own self about what's happening and face the problems, but perhaps they need help here to be able to support themselves through this situation and to find resolution. And I don't feel that person is you. I don't feel like that's not up to you. It's not up to you to make it all good for them. And I feel a lot of what I feel back over here with the Devil and the Six of Cups, I think you've always seen that this person can come off track, that they can go rogue, that they are naughty, and that you are nice, and that you're invested in them in a way where you want to influence them perhaps, or for them to pick up on some of your innocence and honesty in a way that, hoping that it'll brush off on them and help them or heal them or steer them in the right direction. I kind of feel like you're shepherding this person in many ways. I feel like this person has actually been attracted to a lot of what you've actually had to offer there as far as that is concerned. But when it really comes down to it here with Judgment, the moment to sort of step up and rise to the situation of resolving the issue, I don't feel this person can face it. Fundamentally, they haven't changed. They aren't able to face that change. There's almost like a refusal to see their way forward through this. And I'm going to be honest with you, I'll go a step further. I don't feel that that's the singular issue. I feel here with the Nine of Swords that there are other aspects that are going on for them that compound this issue. This is like a multifaceted problem. The idea of a desire to want to go out and cheat is just one aspect. There are numerous other problems for this person in terms of an historical layering of issues that they need to face in order to figure themselves out, so they can free up to be in a relationship in a much more transparent and honest way. So at the moment, I kind of feel, although they've resolved themselves to almost in a very kind of, reformed way to kind of step out into the world and to be with you and to be liberated by their past, I feel it's almost a bit blind. There are no precautions in place to really to really support them through this experience in a way where they look deeper within so that they can actually make fundamental changes based on health and healing from a holistic point of view as to why it is they actually came to cheat in the first place. Yeah. So for me, no, they're not cheating, but yes, there is the potential for them to cheat again in the future. And I hope this reading has made some sense. And if it has, feel free to leave some comments down below. It'd be great to get your feedback. Like and share this video where you can. Hit subscribe. Tap on the bell icon. That'll give you notifications for any future readings I post. And if you're interested in the services that I offer as a psychic tarot reader, you can go to www.tonyfoxtarot.com. Plenty of information about who it is that I am and what it is that I do and how it is you can access my service as a psychic tarot reader. Thanks very much and take care. Everyone, welcome to card number 2. This is your reading and we're looking at whether this person is cheating on you today. So let's jump in and have a look and see what's going on here. I'm up here into the past with the Hermit and the Knight of Swords. I'm looking at this other person. I feel like there has been a long history of their discontentment and frustration. I feel like this is somebody who has been flying off the handle all of the time. I don't get a happy person in this relationship. I feel there's a lot of deep-seated frustration and that there have been, periods where they blamed you for certain things. And I don't feel that this person is able to collect themselves in a calm way. You know, there's a lot of overreaction, a lot of aggression, a lot of abuse. It's erratic and unpredictable. And I think at times it can be actually quite intimidating. I get a lot of anger coming here through the Knight of Swords. And, you know, the Hermit, it just feels very deep-seated. You know, like there's something underneath the surface that they're not telling you, which they're not tapping into in terms of their own process or experience. You know, like it's almost like a denial to go into what's really wrong here. A refusal to dig deep into why I'm like this. It's easier just to blame you. It's easier to call you names, to abuse you, to take out my anger, to take out my frustration, to intimidate you and push you away so that you don't try and dig deeper into what's going on to get to the truth. I think this person's been very unfair. I feel like they've targeted you in a very personal way. I think this person said a lot of nasty things to you over a long period of time. And I feel like this is, I have to say, I feel like this is a fairly committed relationship. It feels like there's a long history between the two of you. I wonder whether for many of you, whether you would be married or at least in a very de facto situation. If it's not either of those things, it just feels like it's a very deep relationship where there's a lot going on. I think what is really striking about these two cards is that they won't be questioned about anything, about their behavior, about what's going on, about what they want, what they don't want, what they like, what they dislike, what they really feel. Like there's no feeling here. It's all in there. They're very in their heads, you know, because a very defensive attitude. And I feel that this is somebody who likes to get their own way. You know, they're very dominant personality. They if they don't feel that they have to answer to something, they won't. But they won't do that in a very nice way. I think that their tendency is to go on the defensive. Sorry, to go on the offensive. Actually, is more like it's like, you know, it's just constantly attack, and very intelligent, very quick-minded person who knows what's going on. My feeling is that this is somebody who has been fighting you and fighting the reasons of the relationship, unable to go deeper into a more of an emotional intimacy and to really share with you at full capacity. You know, like it's just like they're just constantly on the edge, and every time they get close to that, they go on the offensive, they go on the attack, they push you away. Yeah. Down here with the Devil and the Six of Wands. And, you know, like I think by nature, you, on the other hand, this is looking at you into the past, I feel like you've been really driven to succeed in this relationship, by hook or by crook. You know, the Devil is a really motivated energy. it wants what it wants, and it's paired with the Six of Wands. It's all about success and trying to make things work in a way where you feel like you've got something to show for all of your efforts. Most definitely, I think you want to be victorious in this relationship. You don't give up. You're a determined character. But you've also been very mistrustful of this person. You're thinking, well, why the hell are they like? Why are they like this? What have I done to deserve all of this? Why are they trying to push me away? But you have just kind of, I think you've normalized the behavior in many ways. I think it's like, okay, I can tell that this person is just trying to reject me in many ways, but I really want to be with them because there's a very strong attraction between the two of you. It feels quite love-hate, actually. A lot of aggression here can really spike the passion, can really overflow in terms of feeling very emotional. A lot of energy rising up into anxiety, frustration, and it needs a release. And I think there's a very passionate kind of kickback from all of that. Things are always on edge, and that energy builds and builds and builds, and it needs somewhere to go. And I think that actually manifests through this really strong attraction that you seem to have with each other at a sexual level. So very strong sexual attraction. I think also a very strong attraction for you based on the idea of rejection. You want what doesn't want you, or you want what appears not to want you. Maybe even a little bit addicted to that idea of being pushed away, of being made to feel maybe that you're not good enough. I also felt that you mistrusted this person deeply. You've always mistrusted them, but there's something in you that is just going, like I want this relationship. I like almost like a bit like an addiction, right? It's like I really want to be with them. The more I feel that it's wrong, the more they push me away, the more I want it. The more the sexual appeal seems to take, like I guess a sharper focus. It just really amps up the energy. I think you've been very jealous of this person at times. A lot of jealousy in the Devil, most definitely, and I feel that when you've seen this person here in the Six of Wands, when you've seen them in their full power, I think you love that. I think you actually love something about that. You love their strength, you love their determination, you love the fact that they know what they want or what they don't want. I think maybe a part of you likes it on their terms and conditions. Maybe a part of you wants to bend to what it is that they're all about. Because they're certainly like that. And I think it gets to a point where you can see that other people are very attracted to this person. And I think that really spikes jealousy within you. It makes you feel very insecure. It generates all of these feelings, that I've been talking about. Desire, jealousy, attraction, And I kind of feel like this is a very intense relationship. I've coming up here to the Hierophant and the Four of Pentacles. I feel where things are at right now with this particular person. I feel like they're trying to pull out of the relationship. Hierophant is a card of marriage and the institution of commitment. The Four of Pentacles, definitely a card of selfishness and pulling away in a way where it's all about the self. I feel like this person is trying to get out of the relationship. I feel that you're together, but they are very independently minded in terms of their ideas around money and security. I kind of feel like this person's going for the grab, trying to take what is theirs, trying to take back things maybe that they've given you, trying to stake their territory, trying to close down on you in a way where they've become very secretive. I think very secretive about their agenda, very secretive about what it is that they're trying to do here. I kind of feel like they've pushed you out, pushed you away, closed off. Emotionally, they've completely shut down on you. They're not letting you in. And I feel like they've asserted these very strong boundaries that are basically saying, don't cross this line, because I'm not going to have it. This is mine. What's mine is mine. And in some cases, I think maybe, what's yours is mine as well. Like, I really feel like this person is going for the grab on money, security, things that you may have shared in the past, taking them back. Maybe friends, maybe even places that you go. It's like, it kind of feels become very territorial. I feel like they're refusing to budge on certain issues around money, around security. It's you know, it feels greedy. Maybe it feels a little bit desperate as well. It's definitely, there's a spike in selfishness here. I feel like everything's one-sided, very immovable in terms of their point of view. It's like, I'm right, you're wrong. It's quite self-righteous. And also, I just feel like it's like so they're saying, I've not done anything wrong. You know, I'm not to blame. So they're not sharing anything of themselves. They've closed down on you. It's all about their wants and needs. And I also feel here that there's a strong sense that they're covering their tracks, okay? That they have arrived at this particular point in maybe almost a calculated way where whatever it is that got them to here today, now, it's like you can't see where they've come from to get to this particular place. It's for me, it feels like this person is in the preparations or has prepared to bail on the relationship to get out. And if I come down here to Justice and the Five of Cups, I do feel like it's getting very technical. Justice, the Five of Cups, things are getting technical. You know, the idea of separation. I feel like there's bitter disappointment here in a way that it's, you know, really questioning for you. I'm talking about you here. How the hell have things come to this? You know, what have I done to deserve this? You know, there's so much grief going on here, and that grief is generating, you know, like a need to understand in quite minute detail what has happened. Justice, you know, how do I evidence this? You know, like, how do I actually put this into, you know, like a framework in my mind so I can join the dots and really get my head around why they have done this? Why have I been rejected? I think also you want justice. It's like, hang on a second, you know, it's not all yours. What are you trying to do here? Why are you trying to do this? Is it because there is somebody else? What's motivated you to close down on me, to become so selfish, to try and take what was ours? I feel that you haven't given up hope, though. I feel it. I really feel here that there is you know, like a strong emotional investment. I feel that you. Is it love? I think it's let down. It's disappointment. It's certainly grief and sorrow. You know, but it's a very strong feeling of just like, I really hope that I'm wrong. You know, maybe I've read this wrong. Maybe I've got this wrong. Maybe they will come to their senses and we'll be able to figure this out and move it forward. Because if you come back over here to the Devil and the Six of Wands, you've never given up on this person. You've always been there for them, even though you've had suspicions about their behavior, what is they may be doing, how they treated you. You've bent and bent and bent to give them everything that they could possibly need. You've been incredibly supportive to this person. But right now, here we are in response to where it is that they are in terms of closing down on you. And it's you know, really trying to weigh up the disappointment, weigh up the situation in a way where you're trying to think, well, how do we get to this point? What is it that's actually gone wrong? So it brings into this question into it brings the idea of this question into play. You know, have they been cheating on you? And I'm going to be honest with you, I don't actually feel that this person has been cheating on you. I don't see that. I don't see anybody else here in their timeline. I see enormous selfishness here. I see an individual who is out for themselves. I see an individual who refuses to go deeper into intimacy, into the exploration of a heartfelt intent within this particular relationship. I feel like you have a long history together, or it's a very deep relationship at the very least. And this person has drawn and drawn and drawn and drawn from you in a way where they kind of sucked you dry. And now you're left in this situation trying to mop up all of the pieces, trying to figure it all out, trying to join the dots as to where it's all gone wrong. And I felt, if you come up here to the Tower and the Seven of Pentacles, I feel there's an outcome in terms of the balance of the future for this person. There's a refusal to take accountability or to support you in light of breaking up with you, of moving on without you. I kind of feel like this person is trying to take everything. Trying to take all your friends, trying to take all the money, trying to take all the security, trying to take all the shared things that you had that were material. Trying to rob you of your emotional investment, you know? I kind of feel like there's almost like a denial of you, a denial of the situation. And I feel like they continue to blame you until the bitter end. I really feel deep down here that this person knows what it is that they've done. But there's a form of denial that's kind of leading through the timeline. And I feel it will be quite some time before they'll get to a point where they'll really be able to understand what this is all about. But in the meantime, it's all about sabotage. It's all about taking this situation down in a way where they feel justified to act out the way they are and to not give anything to you. It's pure selfishness. I don't feel like this person is looking around, looking at other people. They're just looking at themselves. They're thinking about themselves. They don't care about anybody else. They certainly don't care about you. I feel time and distance is needed here for them to really understand what their part was to play, and that in the long term, I'm talking long term, and I feel that it might be some years to come, I felt that there would be a point where they would reach out to communicate that they finally do see what their part was in terms of the demise of this particular relationship. And so I feel like in time, they'll give you something to work with, but for me, it feels like a long time, and you don't have time to wait. And if I come down here to the Magician and the Ace of Wands, I feel like it's a really positive outcome in terms of where this is going, actually going. For me, and the balance for you in the future here, I feel here with the Magician and the Ace of Wands that you're liberated by independence. It's like you just hit the ground running when you come out of this relationship, which I feel like is just around the bend. It's like you just quickly pick up the pieces and move on without looking back. It's like there's a realization, here with the Magician, there's a spark of realization. All of a sudden it comes to you like a bolt of lightning. It's like, you know what? This is a perfect opportunity for me just to move on with my life in a way where I am now uninhibited and free to be the full person that I really want to be. This person's done you a favor. They let you off the hook. They've actually given you permission to get on with your life. It's as though everything just kind of resonates and falls into place in a way where you see the light, you see clarity, you step into your power in a way where there's unlimited potential here just to be out there on your own in a way where you haven't experienced that before. And I felt that you would learn very immediately here in terms of what it is that's happened. It's like a get out of jail card for me. The Magician, it's incredibly knowledgeable. It communes at a very intuitive level, but it's a self-aware card that is coupled here with the Ace of Wands, which generates new possibility, new potential, new opportunity. Yeah. I felt that your circumstances and the opportunities that are around you here in the future, they move into your favor. They parallel to your experience. They coincide with your intent, and they get behind you in a way where everything becomes very lighthearted and easy. It feels very heavy up until this particular point. It feels like the situation is really drawing you down, but then all of a sudden, there's this kind of liberation here with the Magician and the Ace of Wands. And you give back to yourself, and you begin to enjoy your life in a way that you had not before. So there's going to be no more drain on your energy, which frees you up to fuel yourself to your full potential. So much to work with here in a way where you didn't see it before. For me here with these two cards, it's a moment of self-realization, self-empowerment, an opportunity without looking back and moving forwards. This person doesn't have your back. I don't feel that they're cheating on you. In some ways, fundamentally, I don't know that they have the DNA to cheat on you. Yeah, they have the DNA, and they certainly are living it out in terms of being ultimately selfish. But it's time to move on. Time to think about yourself. I hope this reading has made some sense, and if it has, feel free to leave some comments down below. It'd be great to get your feedback. Like and share this video where you can. Hit subscribe, tap on the bell icon. That'll give you notifications for any future readings that I post. And if you're interested in the service that I offer as a psychic tarot reader, you can go to www.tonyfoxtarot.com. There's plenty of information about who it is that I am, what it is that I do, and how it is that you can access my service as a psychic tarot reader. Thanks very much and take care. Hi everyone, welcome to card number 3. This is your reading. We're looking at whether this person is cheating on you or not today. So let's jump in and have a look and see what's happening. up here at the Hierophant and the Five of Pentacles, I felt like this is a good place to start with the other person, looking into the past. It's like they've never really fully committed in this connection. They're afraid that they're going to lose something if they do that. I feel here that this person kind of hates on the idea of what commitment means. You know, like here with the Hierophant, it's the idea of marriage, the institution of devotion in a way that is, unwavering. And I feel like this person is saying, you know, like, I just don't see what's in it for me or for us or for anybody for that matter. It's almost like they see it as being something that inevitably leads to a situation where nobody's going to be happy. They don't have confidence in it. They don't believe in it fully. I felt here that this person was very cold on the idea of making a commitment to you, and that they always kept that conversation or even where things were going in terms of just the natural development or evolution of the connection. You know, as a relationship, they're always keeping it at a distance. You know, they're kind of making a case against it, pouring cold water on it. It's a very controlled narrative. I feel like this person is central to that position. The ball's in their court. They can say what they want. You know, it's all up to them. I don't feel like you're getting a say in this. I feel like this person has always been in a bad place with relationships. And perhaps even for the two of you, when you've met each other, I feel maybe you're both in a bad place here, that you're not feeling great about a relationship that you've just had. Perhaps relationships in the past that you've had historically. I feel like for you, and perhaps also for this person, maybe it's also the upbringing, like your conditioning. You know, maybe you had parents who had a really bad relationship, and or you've just witnessed with lots of friends that have not had great relationships. I feel like everything you've seen about what it means to settle down and make a commitment as a couple, that you see a lot of dysfunction in it. That I don't feel like there's been positive role models. I don't feel like there's been positive experiences that have really fed into the connection that you've had. And also, when you met each other, I felt like the both of you were in a bad place. Again, maybe you've come out of a difficult relationship, or maybe you've just had a really difficult time of it for a variety of reasons. You know, I didn't feel either one of you was in a great place at this time when you met each other. So this person is giving very little to the structure of the relationship. You know, the baseline is to expect very little with them. I feel like that's what they do. They're kind of almost conditioning you down, but you've already been conditioned down. So for you, I kind of almost feel like this is kind of normal. You know, as a baseline, this is normal. I have to be honest with you. I think part of it also for this person, it's almost treating people mean, or treating you mean to keep you keen. If you're on the back foot, they kind of know where things are at. They don't feel so insecure. Because the reality is, I think that they feel really insecure within a relationship. They don't know what they really have deep down to be able to give to it. They've never really tried that hard. They have a very low expectation of themselves in terms of what they're able to give, provide, create in this kind of context. I also hear with the Five of Pentacles, I also felt, I wonder whether this person had a bad relationship in the past where somebody took everything. Maybe they took all the money. Maybe they pulled the rug out from underneath their feet. So the other person, I kind of feel like has done something to this person in a way where they've lost trust in people. And that if you begin to sort of live a life and create an experience together where maybe you have material wealth, or you begin to build a life, that can all be taken away from you in an instant. So it's better not to go there in the first place. Better to keep light touch. Expect very little. Excuse me. Down here with the World and the Page of Cups, I felt like this is a place to start for yourself in the past. Looking at where you're at is very in your head about this relationship. I feel you've always had a lot of doubt in it. A lot of doubt about the success as to where it can really go. I feel like you've had a lot of questions over it. I think you wanted it to work. I think if anything, your view is much more constructive. I think you've wanted it to be more than it really has been in terms of what it delivers, but you've always been suspicious of this other person. Why do they keep me so distant? Why is it that they're so closed down on this experience? Why are they always conditioning down my expectations? Is it because I'm not good enough? Is it because they're actually looking to sleep around on me? Are they cheating? So I kind of get here with the Page of Swords. It's like a really sort of overactive mind, like a continuous suspicion as to what this person's really up to and why is it they don't really want to make a commitment towards some kind of successful outcome. I think here also a lot of your own past experiences kind of, again, I feel past relationships, maybe your upbringing, again, the witnessing of other relationships, it's like, how is it this could ever be successful? I've never seen a really good relationship work in a way where it's really honest, very truthful. I have to be honest with you here as well. I think, here with the world, it's, like about looking towards the success and fulfillment with this person, the questioning around it with the Page of Wands. But the Page of Wands really kind of, it kind of undermines you in a way where I feel like you think you're the problem here. I feel like you believe what this other person is saying, and that perhaps that somehow you're not good enough. So again, it's multifaceted. Part of me wants to say, I think your conditioning has brought you to a point where you expect little and that you don't think that it can succeed. But I think this person is really reinforcing that in a way where it's like, yeah, this is normal. It's kind of become a very normalized experience. So you're being conditioned to believe or expect the worst. But I know deep down here, you're a very intelligent person. You tick things over. You're always active in terms of your analysis. Your mind knows that there could be more here. I think you want for more, you question for more, you hope for more. But at the same time, I think your downfall here is that you're believing that it's not going to be more. Yeah. Up here to the Wheel of Fortune and the Page of Wands. I feel at the moment that this other person, like the dynamics really changed. Like their view is kind of very outward. It's not looking at the relationship in any shape or form in a way where it gives you confidence. I felt it was very outward sort of looking. I kind of feel like this person is looking further afield. I felt like maybe for some of you that this person was looking to move away or to go on a holiday or a big traveling trip they're making lots of sounds as to sort of like moving on without you. I kind of feel like they're very unsettled. They've got itchy feet. They can't settle down in their day-to-day experience, and whatever it is that you've been having as far as this connection is concerned, it's sort of it's shifting and it's changing, and it feels like it's about to kind of move on in a way where you're not included. I feel like this person is having conversations where they're dropping information that makes it sound like they're actually going to do something that is really, really quite sort of big in terms of moving on or taking up an opportunity that takes them out of town or takes them overseas or that they're looking to move somewhere that could be really awkward for you to get to. It just doesn't feel like they're inclusive here of you and what their future's all about. I feel also here that their eye is really wandering here with the Page of Wands. It's like they're kind of constantly looking around at other people and checking them out in terms of eyeing them up. Yeah. Rubberneck, it's like, wow, look at that person over there. They look really attractive. I feel that they're showing no interest in you at this time. The Wheel of Fortune, it's kind of everything in terms of the shape is starting to shift. It kind of feels like it's on the edge, the precipice of change. This person is looking to move on. They become very distant and very unavailable. I also feel like they're looking for a way out of the situation. So even if they're not saying a lot of what it is that I'm describing here, it's like the feeling is definitely like this. It kind of feels like this person is on the edge of something. They're about to move on. Maybe for some of you, though, I kind of feel that this person is being very forthright and actually saying, I'm thinking of leaving. I'm thinking of getting out of here. And so if you come down here to the page, sorry, to the 10 of Cups and the Tower, I think the impact on you has been really chaotic. It's like, wow, like I wasn't expecting a lot before, but now, I've been led to believe to expect absolutely nothing. But I don't feel like a full conversation has been had about that. The one thing that seems to be really consistent about this person's character is a lack of communication to include you, a conditioning down for you to expect the worst, a lack of inclusivity that makes you feel that it's intimate and close. And at the same time, back up here with the 5 of Pentacles, there's this camaraderie, there's this bond between the two of you. You found each other over a very difficult experience that has kind of led you to both believe in some ways at the heart of this that there is, a kindred spirit, that actually, you actually have found each other in a way where you have been there for each other, whether you like to believe that or not. The reality is that the experience that you've had has, it has a basis for a relationship. And I feel like this person is kind of like wanting to escape that. It's almost like their worst fear or their most difficult thing to confront. They're always avoiding this idea of commitment. Here with the Hierophant, they're kind of always walking away from it. And then as you sort of, you have the basis for something to work with in terms of a relationship, it's like, oh, hang on a second, I need to get out of this, I need to go and do something else. I need to start, thinking of myself, really, escaping the situation, but then not having a conversation with you about it specifically. So if you come back down here to the Tower and the 10 of Cups, it's like your dreams are being crushed here. I think it's a feeling like I'm never going to find happiness with anybody, with them or with anybody. And it kind of comes back to this idea. Well, maybe I'm thinking too. Maybe I'm expecting too much. Maybe my expectations are unrealistic, and nothing good ever happens for me. I think for many of you, the idea of a sense of family or belonging in a relationship is really important. It's something that you've never had. I feel like this is very strong for you. I don't feel like you've ever had support of a family, of intimacy, of a relationship where you really feel that you belong to somebody in a way that gives you, like a sense of fulfillment. Maybe that's even the case with friends. I kind of feel like you're a bit of a loner. And I feel here that as soon as things kind of edge towards the idea that you could be happy, it's like a dark cloud looms over it and delivers this really, like this kind of chaotic situation that completely unravels that potential in a way where, you're kind of thrown into dismay and despair, really. I feel here at this point in time that you're really struggling, really struggling. Because you have no control over the situation. It's like, this person has the power over you, and they're not using any of that power in a way that actually is of in your best interest. But the one thing I want to say here is that I think the communication between the two of you is very poor. I don't see an expressive, articulate basis for inclusivity, that sort of dialogues around what that means. I think you've come together and you've taken it for granted that things are a little bit crap and they're never going to be that great, but you're kind of hoping deep down that maybe something will come out of it, and this person has delivered the worst possible scenario on you. They're looking to move on in a way where you're not part of the deal. There's an interesting plot twist to this particular reading, okay? And I'm going to come up here to Temperance and the King of Cups. I feel like this person is moving on. I feel like they're leaving you, that they're going somewhere else, or that they're just having time out from you. Time and distance is really big here. I feel like this person is kind of either going to a different place, or they're at a different place in their life, and that they're going over this situation here with temperance, and I kind of feel like absence makes the heart grow fonder in many ways. I feel like without you in the picture, having moved on and being in that next phase of where they wanted to be to escape the situation, it's almost like they're coming to terms with how they really feel about you. I feel like this person is tasting and testing life without you, but their heart energy really rises up here with the King of Cups and with Temperance too. There's healing that takes place here in the future. I think over the next 2 months, I feel like this person is realizing that they can't ignore that they actually have feelings for you, and that deep down that they really want to be with you. I feel that they're coming to terms with what it means to be in a relationship finally. It's like they can't escape who it is that they are, what is it they really feel. There is this truth that comes up through their emotional self. There is love here. Yeah. There is love here that rises up, and it's very impactful. I think it's going to be really confronting for this person, and I feel like it'll get to a point where they will communicate to you. I'm going to be honest with you. I don't see this person cheating at all. I don't see it. I see somebody who runs away from commitment. I see somebody who runs away from the idea of what it means to be in love. I don't see somebody who is sleeping around, cheating on you. I think this is somebody who just closes down on you because they want to escape the situation. Yeah, they want to escape what they see as being very confronting in terms of the idea of commitment. And that they, at this point in time, I don't think that they really know how it is that they really feel about you. I feel like it's going to take them some time. I feel like a number of months for them to come to terms with a different side of themselves. It's like this person deep down is incredibly sensitive. You can see that here with Temperance and the King of Cups. They are not at all comfortable with their emotional self, but they're also they're actually very thin-skinned, quite delicate, very, I would say also very temperamental, but I feel that there is something really quite unique and beautiful about this person that is quite special and needs a lot of care to deal with. Yeah. I don't feel that this person has ever met the right person, but I feel over the coming months that they will feel that they have healed to some degree in a way where they understand that this isn't easy, but that they need to reach out to you again in a way where they offer up the idea of getting back together. Yeah. And if I come down here to the Chariot and the Nine of Pentacles, I think at first you're going to be really defensive about what that means, because you've been through a very difficult time with this person. And I think historically, you've also had a very difficult time with relationships. But I feel here with the Chariot and the Nine of Pentacles that you are going to respond very positively, very favorably to this person's intentions in terms of reconnecting. And I felt that over time you would begin to soften, and that what is needed here is some sort of continuity that gives you confidence about this person and where it's all going. The rhetoric has changed by this point. I feel over the next 5 months, I feel that things are just moving very positively into brighter and happier times. I think the thing is here for me is that there is an experience of support that evaporates the self-doubt. But you're also getting to know a very different side of this person, a very different side of what it means to have a relationship with somebody. I think that that's going to be quite confronting of you. And so you're kind of defensive and you're stuck in your old ways of what it is that you should expect. But at the same time, your self-confidence will begin to grow. Your guard will begin to let down. And I feel that you will become confident about your hopes and dreams to be with somebody in a way where they can become manifest. And I felt here also, I wonder whether the two of you would move in together. Yeah. Or it also could be that you're moving forwards together in a way where you have a paralleled experience of moving towards success. Yeah, in a relationship. There's a lot of healing going on here in the balance. I felt that when you both first met, that you both were in a very difficult situation. Things weren't right. It was dark days. I kind of feel like you've both been brutalized. I feel like you've had strong histories that are steeped in negativity around the idea of having a relationship. The two of you have come together for a reason here. And I think that you're both moving through something that's very spiritual, very healing. I feel like this person needs to get away and to have some experience on their own in a way where they can come back to themselves and find who it is that they are about you. And in turn, bring some of that healing into your life in a way that gives promise and hope for this future. Yeah, it's a good reading. It's a plot twist. I hope you like this reading, and if you have, please feel free to leave some comments down below. Like and share this video where you can. Hit subscribe. Tap on the bell icon. That'll give you notifications for any future readings that I post. And if you're interested in the services that I offer as a psychic tarot reader, you can go to www.tonyfoxtarot.com. There's plenty of information about who it is that I am, what it is that I do, and how it is you can access my service as a psychic tarot reader. Thanks very much and take care. Hi everyone, welcome to card number 4. This is your reading and we're looking at whether this person has been cheating on you. So let's jump in and have a look and see what's going on up here with the Moon and the Four of Pentacles. Thought this was a good place to start with the other person, looking into the past. I feel like over a period of time this person's played very hard to get with you. It's always been a bit gamey straight from the beginning. I don't feel they've ever really kind of sort of given you that open honesty that would just make connecting with them a lot easier. I feel like they're never really telling you the full story here. Often secretive, and also can be a little bit selfish. Selfish of time, selfish of their own agenda, selfish of input. But I felt they were very guarded as an individual, and very guarded about certain things, maybe about spending time with a particular friend or going to certain places. I just kind of feel it's very compartmentalized, and they're not giving you insight or information as to what they're doing in a kind of free and easygoing way. It's always on the kind of on the defensive a little bit. I felt they could be very selective also about what side of themselves that they showed to you. I don't feel like you're sort of given a full range of access to this person's personality. Very guarded about certain parts of their life, very guarded about the way they may look in a particular situation. Very guarded about feelings. So it's almost like they're sort of like pushing you away a little bit, but there's always an excuse as to why they're like that, I feel. I feel like if you press on that particular point as to why they might be like that, there's always some reason for it. It's almost dismissing the question, or dismissing you, or dismissing that there could be something that you should be suspicious about. There is a sort of double life feel here, you know, and I think more in a much more straightforward way. I feel like there is this person and how they are at home, and then there is how they are at work, and then there is how they are with their friends. Again, it's compartmentalized. I felt like different people saw different sides to this person. So when you're talking to somebody that knows them, they're giving you like almost like a different version or a different personality. It's like, wow, that doesn't necessarily add up in my experience. Very closed, and can just be a little bit off at times. Just something doesn't hit right in the center in a way that makes you feel confident. It just kind of always leaves you feeling what's going on there. so straight from the straight from the get-go, I feel like there have been questions hovering around this person's honesty and transparency, and for good reason. I think down here with the Hangman and the King of Wands, I think in response to all of this, I think for you, I think since you've met this person, you've been really busy with your own life. King of Wands, definitely a lot of energy and professionalism going on here. I feel like you're very kind of committed to the work that you're doing, really involved with certain projects. You're kind of all guns blazing, full steam ahead in a way where I think that you've got a lot going on in your life. And maybe not so much time to really think about these smaller things that you're kind of reflecting on now, you know, or that I've just discussed with you. More to the point, it's almost like you're dismissing that in a way where you're thinking, well, okay, this person maybe has really strong boundaries. Maybe I shouldn't think too much about that. I think you've been very respectful for this person in a way where you've kind of just let them have their own space, let them be the way they need to be. I don't feel like you've pushed into it in a way where you've tried to make too much of an issue about it. I think you've tried to kind of let them have their own space. You've had your own thing going on in a way where there's been a lot going on for you. So I kind of feel like you've been preoccupied and maybe haven't had so much time to give to them, or to think about it in terms of what might be going wrong. I think you have seen that there may be certain limitations within the relationship. But what I have to say here between the two of you is that you're both very, very different people, quite individualistic in your own right. You know, like I feel a lot of strength here in character, within yourself, but also within this other person. I think that you stand your ground in your own way. This other person stands their ground in their own way. I think you have individualistic way of doing things. Like you're not a kind of like a coupley couple, if that makes sense. You're not all over each other in a way where you feel that you have to know everything that's going on. It's okay to have your own life within this connection. So quite separate lives in some ways. I kind of feel like you're doing a lot of things on your own, and that this other person is doing a lot of things on their own. That there's not a lot of crossover. When the crossover does happen, you're not taking anything for granted. You're just allowing each other to be the way that you need to be without putting too much on it. I don't feel like you're pushing into this person. This person's not pushing into you in terms of wanting to know all about your private life, really. So I have to say that there is respectful boundaries on both sides, definitely. But if I come up here to the Tower and the Page of Cups, I feel like recently, more in the kind of now of this timeline, this person has been seen to be very flirtatious with somebody in front of you, or that something has happened that you've seen or heard that has given you cause to think, hang on a second, is this person, are they cheating on me? I feel like you have perhaps even confronted this person about it, and that they've been very dismissive and just denied it and played it down in a way where they've tried to make light of it, you know? I feel like this person is saying that they would never do that, and that it's in your imagination. And I feel that they've acted all innocent and naive about what's going on in a way that, again, just tries to almost act out this situation to play it down to their advantage, definitely. I'm going to be straight up with you here. I do feel this person has been cheating on you. Page of Cups is a card of not only flirtation, but new opportunity in romance. I feel like there is somebody else on the scene here, that there has been somebody not necessarily courting the person that you're interested in, but there has definitely been some kind of action. The boundary has been crossed. And I feel that this person that you're really into knows that they've been found out. And I kind of feel like they're actually presenting a really weak and baseless argument or defense in response to you pushing into this to ask or to probe the question as to whether they've been cheating on you. And each time they open up their mouth, they just seem to dig a little deeper into their own grave. I kind of feel this person is throwing lots of distractive arguments into the mix, that they're trying to paint a picture of innocence and I guess naivety as to what's going on. Who, me? How could you possibly think that of me? But it doesn't wash, because once again, this is another side of them that you've never seen before. It's like it's another dot that just doesn't join up in a way that makes sense to you. I feel that you've also seen through this experience that this person has actually been really, really destructive by being so foolish, by being so careless, by being so immature about the whole situation. I kind of feel, if I come down here to the world and the Eight of Swords, I feel like you feel like you're being played. Yeah. Um, it's like, why are you trying to say this to me? Why are you trying to brainwash me into thinking that what I've seen, what I've heard, what I've experienced is not any of that? Um, I feel like you're being told you were wrong, but you know that you're right at the same time. And I feel like you're kind of withdrawing here. I feel like you've gone into self-protection mode. You've closed down on this person. You're withdrawing to digest what it is that you've seen, what it is that you've heard, what it is that you've experienced. I think that you're really trying to figure things out in terms of the totality of your experience with them in a way that sees clear. At the moment, you can't see where this is going to go. You can't see that this has the potential to succeed, to heal, to move forward into a reconciled position. I think because this person has tried to play you like a fool, right? This person's tried to fob you off, tried to fob off what you're saying, trying to do it really badly as well. It's not very intelligent. It's not an intelligent defense. I think that that's actually the biggest part here. It's almost like it's an insult. It's like, what do you take me for here? I think there's another side of the story here. I think the other part of you wants to believe that what they're telling you is true. Because it would be easier, because then you could just get back on board with what was going on in a way where you were moving towards a successful outcome in your relationship, whatever that means to you. I just feel that the two of you are on track together, moving forward in a way where perhaps you've taken everything for granted. And then it's like, this is like a bomb going off. You can see that here with the tower. It's like, well, hang on a second. Back down here, my world's been thrown into absolute chaos. And I think also here, there's a sense of feeling like really victimized about what this person is doing. The way they've responded to you, it's not honest, you know? It's almost abusive in a way because what they're trying to do is quite harmful. Denying you truth, distorting the perception of what it is that's going on, playing you for a fool. It's an insult, but it's also an abuse of how it is that I feel and what it is that I saw and what it is that I have a right to know. And I think the difficult thing is, if you come back over here to the King of Wands, like, you're such an adult with everything that you do. You stand tall and accountable. You step up each and every time. You know, you're an incredibly supportive person. And I think the reality is that what's going on here, if this person had told you the truth, you could take it. And you could work through it in a way that may even give you support to them. Yeah? Or may give support to them from you, is what I'm trying to say there. I feel a lot of fear is now set in for you in a way where you're just not able to sort of, I guess, clear the decks and get to the point, because you can't converse with somebody who is actually, at a baseline, just going to be honest with you. There's a bit of a twist plot in this reading as well. I kind of feel this is quite interesting. I felt, as an outcome, moving into the future here, over here with the Lovers and the Eight of Pentacles, I feel like this person is going to really work very hard to regain your trust. It's like all of a sudden they've kind of, when you contrast where they were back over here with the Moon and the Four of Pentacles, over here with the Lovers and the Eight of Pentacles, it's like they come out their shell and they're very inclusive with you. They're trying to do things with you. They're putting effort into the connection with you. They're trying to give back in a way that brings you closer together. And I felt that the relationship was actually going to continue on. And I felt here, what was really interesting, it's like this person just seems to be so much more giving and dutiful within the relationship. It's a new side of who it is that they are. They want to be closer with you. They're making more effort. But also overall, in terms of a lengthy period of time, I just felt like there was some sort of consistency of character here that came through in a way that gave you much more confidence as to who it is that you're dealing with here than you had ever at any other time in the past. I feel like this person is saying, I'm back on the straight and narrow, without actually saying it. I don't feel like they've said, I did it, that I was cheating on you. I don't feel like they've fessed up and admitted anything. I feel that they're just continuing on with the denial, but it's through this process that they realize what it is that they actually have to lose. And so it's kind of almost like made them pull their head in a way where they've recommitted to you in a very steadfast way. Over a period of about 8 months, I feel this is actually happening. All of the choices that they seem to make lead them back to the relationship. All roads lead to Rome in that sense, that they really want to be with you. They really want to stay with you. They don't want to lose you. And they're working really hard to regain your trust. They're really working hard to keep the relationship on track. They're trying to be honest. They're trying to be straightforward. They're trying to be above board through their actions and their commitment. And if I come down here to Temperance and the Seven of Pentacles, I felt that over this period of time, 7 or 8 months, it's like you feel so much more closer to this person than you've ever felt with them before. There's more intimacy, there's more consistency, there's more confidence. And over time, I think that you'll look at what it is that they've said to you, and part of you will also almost feel, yeah, they have told me the truth. They did not sleep with somebody else. They didn't cheat with anybody. But there will always be this one thing in the back of your mind that says, yeah, but something here did not add up. I don't know. There's always going to be the room for doubt is there. But at the same time, so much has grown over this period of time into the future that I feel that you would dismiss that because you'll think that too much has grown to outbalance that doubt, right? For me, there is a sense of acceptance that this person isn't perfect, that maybe they weren't telling you the truth, but the larger part of you wants to believe in them, or at least feels that what they have to show through this experience in terms of an outcome with you is that maybe you have to give them a get out of jail card. And at the very least, maybe a part of you also wants to gloss over it and say, well, I'll give them the benefit of the doubt. I feel like what you're also sort of saying and doing in this experience is saying that, yeah, water is under the bridge. And maybe I need to be the bigger person here because I can see that this person is quite immature on that particular level. And maybe they need to grow through this experience in a way that they can see the light. Yeah. I'm going to be honest with you. The plot twist for me is that I don't feel that that's wrong. I don't feel that that is wrong. I think that this person has or is telling you a lie. And, fundamentally, that's not great in a relationship. But at the same time, I think that this person has done this more as a one-off. I don't feel that this is a consistent and historically evident situation where they've cheated on you multiple times, or they've necessarily even cheated on other people. I do feel that they have faced the brink here at this point in time, right in the here and now. I feel like they're actually looking over the precipice of the tower and kind of going, I've got everything to lose. How could I be so foolish? How could I be so naive here with the Page of Cups? And their only form of defense is to go into absolute denial. It's unsophisticated, it's not particularly intelligent, and it is very immature. But the one thing here that I feel that has it going for the both of you is that the two of you actually grow through this experience. Yeah? In a way that benefits the relationship. Because it changes this person. It changes this person to refocus on you and refocus on their commitment in a way that helps to make this into a successful and very practical working relationship in a way that it wasn't happening before. So maybe take that away and digest it. I do feel that this person has cheated on you, but there is a get out of jail card here for me that says, this could be okay if you're okay to handle it that way. Yeah. If you're not okay to handle that way, then maybe you need to be thinking to get out. Yeah. If your baseline is that a lie and cheating as a one-off is the basis for the end of the relationship, then it's a different story. It goes one of two ways. Anyway, listen, I hope this reading has made some sense to you, and if it has, feel free to leave some comments down below. It'd be great to get your feedback. Like and share this video where you can. Hit subscribe, tap on the bell icon. That'll give you notifications for any future readings that I post. And if you're interested in the services that I offer as a psychic tarot reader, you can go to www.tonyfoxtarot.com. There's plenty of information about who it is that I am, what it is that I do, and how it is you can access my service as a psychic tarot reader. Thanks very much and take care.